Please welcome Kyle Jones, Chairman, Co-founder, and CEO, iCryo.
Well, good afternoon. Great to see everybody. It's wonderful to be here. As I said, I'm Jeff Sweefel. I think I'm excited about being a part of this dynamic and potent discussion around wellness, around longevity. I think we've got this really transformative opportunity in front of us as we think about the convergence of precision medicine, AI. We think about supplementation. We think about recovery. We think about all these different things sort of coming together as a beautiful braided river. And I think all of us as operators are trying to think about, as Gretzky would say, where's the puck going to be, right? And I know we're not all mind readers up here today, but you guys sure collectively have some tremendous perspective and experiences that we want to share with the audience today on what your experience has been, what's working, what's not working, what your key takeaways are. So I'd love it if we could just roll through each of you with a brief introduction and then a little bit about what you do and what you see as the potential biggest opportunities for us as we look out at this huge landscape that is growing so rapidly in longevity and wellness and recovery. My friend, Kyle, let's talk about your business a little bit and where you see the things going.
Kyle Jones, founder, chairman, and CEO of iCryo. We're one of the largest franchises in the MedTail longevity space, so we're medical meets retail. Medically ran operation from the back end, but a retail-friendly environment on the front end. I've been in this space for about 13 years. Started the company back in 2010, started franchising in 2015, started franchising 2017, and 52 locations open across U.S. and Canada, about 240 in current development, and sites to go global. It's never been just a national mission. So,
you've learned a lot. Fail fast, right?
Correct.
Adapt or die. We're so united on the premise that's coming so clear that longevity is the new term for prevention that's finally catching hold. So, Kyle, tell me your thoughts on that.
Yeah, for me, it's the awareness. I think as bad as COVID was in 2020, it created awareness. We went from a reactive society and a human race to a proactive society. It created awareness while we saw businesses closing left and right. Our franchise grew 50% in 2020, 2021, and 2022 because people were looking for ways to boost their immune system and be proactive. And we've been focusing on health span since 2012. Now it's the biggest thing, right? It's the next thing that's kind of booming the market. So I think the biggest opportunity is as a human race, we're so focused on longevity in general.
And then when consumers, rightfully so, what an amazing opportunity. They want to take control of their health. It's now in their hands more than ever, but we've got to give them the best solutions to do that. Kyle, over to you again. So of all the services you provide, which is a pretty diverse service offering in the longevity, anti-aging, performance space, what rises to the top for consumers? You've been doing that well before a lot of other people in the industry, so you've learned, you've adapted, you've pivoted, and what is the most sticky service, and what would you propose you're scaling across your enterprise, and how do you think about what you would scale?
Yeah, so the stickiness is directly tied to people are investigating. People are doing the research, they're educating themselves before they actually do a treatment, or if they do it consistently. So I would tell you, first thing we look for is the science backing up. Does the science support what I'm actually going to sell to the consumer? That's checkbox.
Does it work?
Yeah, that helps it stick long term. The lifetime value of that service working for years and years and years. The science has to be there. Secondarily to that, it has to be techless in my mind. Payroll expenses and labor costs are increasing across the country. You talk about a medically ran facility, it could be 30-40% payroll costs of total expenses. That's high. And so you look at things like we have hyperbaric chambers. We're looking at Escape. We're talking. I love the treatment, by the way, and all what he said was dead on. We're looking at Escape. We're looking at Niagen to be an IV that you set it. You can kind of forget it, come back to it. The nurse can unplug, but she can treat 4, 5, 6 patients at a time. So the number one thing is the science has to be there. Number two, for it to stick, in my mind, it has to make sense for the business. And so lowering the payroll cost, the labor costs, I look at techless services, services that I don't need a technician there the entire duration of that treatment. I can exchange and move people throughout the building. They can provide services to 2 or 3 people at a time, so techless-based services. And for us, that's where we've seen massive success. We see a lot of retention for red light therapy because it's a set it, forget it type thing. It is the most utilized service in our entire company, red light therapy is. I would tell you when it comes to massage, the one reason why we didn't onboard it 7 years ago when we tested it, labor intensive. And so when I met Eric in Escape, it was like, man, I needed you 7 years ago. We would have had you in all of our facilities, but I'm excited to start the testing process. And then with Niagen and hyperbaric 60 to 90 minute treatment, put somebody in the chamber. They've got to be visible per state regulations, but they can just sit in there and there's no visible watching that entire time. So I think it's a techless-based service, science-backed. That's something that's going to build a lifetime value and decrease the overhead for the business.
Think about NAD and its popularity and explosive growth. You can't, not see it anywhere right now. What I think I read a 550% increase in NAD. So how do you think about it, and how do you think about True Niagen and how it's differentiated in the market?
I did my first Niagen treatment actually a month ago and immediately blown away. Just the difference between the Niagen product and NAD, it's night and day in my mind. So I mean, taking a drip rate from 2, 4, 6 hours on NAD to 18 minutes is what I dripped my Niagen 500 milligram in. Think about the put through. Think about in the operations in a center, how many people can you put through dripping 18 to 30 minutes opposed to 2, 4, 6 hours. It was phenomenal for me.
Kyle, talk a little bit about how you've worked with the medical community, good and bad, in your partnership of your offerings, right?
Yeah.
Where they extend and where you partner and how that's gone. And then, second part of the question is how have you maintained quality and consistency as you've scaled?
For sure. So you heard me talk about earlier MedTel space where medical meets retail, and it's interesting. We're hiring RNs across the country. There's probably 700 or 800 RNs that work for the company right now at the location level, and it's a breeze for them, right? They're used to ER medicine. They're used to urgent care. They're used to a chaotic environment. Working in a MedTel environment, a retail environment where people physically want to be there. They're there for a smile. They're spending money to feel better. But it's kind of a given. It's a vacation for them, right? And so not only are they getting the same pay, the same salary, the same benefits, same 401k match, all of those things that they would get in a hospital setting, but it's a retail environment. We're selling packages, we're selling memberships, so all of our RNs make commissions across the board and essentially make more at the end of the year than they do in the hospital environment. So it's an easier, less intensive environment for them to work in. You talked about the longevity of massage therapists being longer in the career field because it's not as labor intensive. Same thing for the nurses across the country. The stress level is at such a low point in our business model, the lifespan of that nurse could double or triple. From a physician standpoint, we have 4 physicians that sit on the medical advisory board. They're multi-state licensed in all of these states that we have locations in. Same concept. They're helping people. They're not in an environment that's chaotic and chaos. And so really it's just managing the landscape. You've got 50 different states. None of them operate the same. You've got the medical boards, the board of pharmacy, and the board of nursing. So you've got 150 different entities across the United States that our physicians have to be in tune about the laws that are changing in each one of those environments and staying compliant.
When you think about NAD, what in your practice have you thought about biomarkers that a consumer should look at that might be ones that they would see naturally move with a product like True Niagen?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the 3 big critical parts, especially data, it's number 1, let's track the data, let's figure it out, let's understand it, whether it's blood, saliva, Oura-ring, Whoop, you name it. It's understanding what to do. And then it's providing the modalities that conquer or solve the problem, and then putting them in a facility to actually do the treatments. It's got to be available to the masses.
Finishing up here, bold future prediction, 15 seconds. What do you see in the next 3 to 5 years in longevity, wellness, anti-aging category? Kyle.
3 big things for me. The peptide market's about to take over. We saw it with the GLP-1, semaglutide, tirzepatide. That space is getting volatile. The peptides that are surpassing that'll be the next 5 to 10 years. Peptides are the next big wave. Secondarily to that, regenerative medicine. Stem cells and exosomes are a massive wave that's hitting the United States right now. The results are wild. Third to that, I talked about it earlier, techless and automated services, reducing the payroll for the business so that way it can become more profitable, but it actually creates an automation from one session and treatment to the next. So keeping things kind of automated on that.
Thank you very much, you guys. I really appreciate your time. Thank you for all being here today.
Thank you. Good.